All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 309 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. It's going to be a minute before we talk about Georgia Southern football because there's a lot going on with the Falcons. I want to discuss some of the moves that we made because there's a handful of signings that happened yesterday that not many people want to talk about. That's fine, because this whole Deshaun Watson thing is pretty much taking over everything Atlanta Falcons, and I want to talk about that as well. I also want to talk about some media stuff, how journalists are reacting to certain things and who's getting the scoop and who's getting that, or whatever the case may be. I want to discuss that as well because I don't think people realize how important that is to people like me and other people who are doing stuff either on YouTube or other forms of social media. I think it's a very big deal, and I think it's something that we need to discuss as well. So we're going to get into all that. Welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. If this is your first time here, welcome. Hopefully you stick around and enjoy. Like I said, we talk about Georgia Southern, Atlanta Falcons, and everything under that umbrella. Also, if you want to listen to this outside of, YouTube or Rumble, I'm on Google, Stitcher, Apple, Spotify, and Anchor. If you want to listen to any of those, on those avenues, want to listen to me on any of those avenues, because it's just not audio. It's not just a video platform, so it's also audio as well. Also on Rumble, and if you decide to listen over there, subscribe over there as well. If you're on Apple, don't mind, give me a 5-star rating over there. Let people know what I'm doing over here. And if you find it in your heart to donate to the show, that will be great, because all of you guys with the support has been amazing. The subscribers, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. I thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough. Enough of all of that. Let's get into this, because this is really, really important. There's been a lot of moves that Atlanta made, yesterday. A lot of moves. I think we signed like 4 or 5 people. We're going to talk about a few of those people. And I'm not going to give you too much of an insight on them, because outside of Casey Hayward, everyone else, I will take that back. Not just Casey Hayward, but Damian Williams. Those are pretty important pieces that we needed. I mean, we got a important cornerback number 2 for AJ Terrell for now. And we got a running back, so we know, at least Terry Fontenot and company know that the running back position, they're pretty sure they already knew this, but the running back position is a priority. And I would like for us to, draft the running back, which I talked about in earlier episodes. But for them to sign one, I cannot be, be mad about that. Like I said, we end up signing Casey Hayward, which is a really good look. 2 years, $11 million. Very solid cornerback, played very well. Not only for the Chargers, he also played for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's coming home. He's from Middle Georgia. I think it's around the Warner Robins area or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look it up, but I know he's from the 478 area. And it's good to see him come back home and he be able to play with a team that he probably grew up watching as he was young. Damian Williams, he signed a 1-year deal as well. So that kind of shows you the writing on the wall of how things are going to be going at running back. Damian Williams is no slouch. He can play some ball. He was pretty good with Kansas City. I think he played for the Chicago, and he's very productive. I mean, I don't think he's like a top tier running back, but he's very productive, and he'll do very well in the scheme that we're running our offense. That doesn't mean it's the end all be all for running backs. I do suspect us maybe try to get another one sometime down the road. As far as everyone else that has been signed, we end up signing another defensive back, Teez Tabor. We signed him. So that's another good pickup, solid pickup. You can't go wrong with depth. You need depth. And as far as depth goes, we got a handful of offensive linemen. We re-signed Kobe Gossett. We signed free agent Elijah Wilkinson. We're supposed to be on the other side of the ball. Anthony Rush is returning as well. So we are looking pretty good right now. as far as signing players. We're signing players that are needed, signing players that could possibly be helpful and productive, and that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. I mean, right now, we don't know what's going on with the makeup of this team because it looks like it's about to be transformed, but at the same time, I do commend the front office for continuously trying to make things happen. Everything's not put in one basket as far as this quarterback situation. Olamide Zaccheaus was re-signed as well. Tyler Davison was released. I do like the pickup of Zaccheaus. Zaccheaus shown flashes of doing good things when he was in the position to. I can see him being another productive version of Russell Gage. Russell Gage is going to play for the Buccaneers now, which, wish him the best. He deserves the money. I think he did very well for us in a bad situation with the wide receiver situation. I think he did a pretty good job. So I think Zaccheaus could possibly step his game up to give us that style of production because he's not a bad wide receiver. I don't think he's never really got I don't think he ever got the chance to show what he can do for the most part. He's always been put in situations at wide receiver 3 or in some cases wide receiver 4. So he never really was able to put himself out there. So right now, depending on who else we sign at receiver, because what I'm going to get into in a little bit could change the dynamic of this entire team. Based on the position that he's in, if he can at least be a consistent number 3, I think he can really, give us some decent numbers. He's not. I don't think he's a bad receiver at all. So, with all the signings, also we signed a young Waku, Hail Southern. You know how it is. I mean, he's a former Georgia Southern Eagle, so that's right up my alley. Good to see him. 5-year, $24 million contract. I mean, that's insane for a kicker, but I think he's well worth it. So that's pretty cool as well. For what's been going on now, I think this is a really solid move. I give the front office a lot of credit. Also give them a lot of credit for what's going on with this quarterback situation. And got to give Matt Ryan some credit too. I think he did a phenomenal job by just being classy. Well, we're going to get into that right now. Let's go ahead and get into that right now because the writing's on the wall on what's going on. There's going to be some form of a quarterback change. There's nothing else. There's no way around it at this point. There's going to be some form of quarterback change with the Falcons. I don't think that if this falls through, the Falcons could go back to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, I will be highly surprised if he would try to suit up for the Falcons after all of this. Now, there's already rumbling saying that Deshaun Watson is going to be a Falcon. Shout out to Can't Guard Jake on Twitter. I know a lot of people give him a lot of hell. Even some of these pundits that are supposed to be prominent been giving him hell. But I'm going to be honest. I don't think he's going through all this just to say that he's wrong. I think it's going beyond trolling at this point. Do I think he's right? Gut feeling, I think he's right. It's just too many things lining up to make this what it is. So I'm looking at it now like maybe he was right all along. There was another person on Twitter that put this out there like 5 hours ago prior to everything going down. I don't even know the guy's name anymore, but I tweeted out to him like, yo, you mean to tell me that he knew this entire time and nobody said anything? And I'm going to give you a reason why I think this is the case. I feel at this point, we have people that are on social media, on the YouTube platforms that are actually in the know much more than some of these journalists are. I believe it at this point. I believe that. And and sometimes I don't want to be first. I don't care about being first. I'm not one of these I told you so guys. But at the end of the day, no matter when I tell you something, it can be 4 months down the road. I want to be right. And I've been rooting for Can't Guard Jake to be right, not because of this whole situation, or not even Can't Guard Jake, but anybody who put this information out before these top guys with all these followers and all this other stuff. I want these guys to be right because there are some guys out here that really bust their tail out here. And I don't know everything, the background of Can't Guard Jake. All I know is ever since I started doing this podcast, he's given me nothing but love. And I mean, that's not the only reason why I'm, doing this, but it's a part of it. I mean, we guys that are in smaller fashions and people that are in smaller fashions of media need to, look out for one another. And I think that's one thing that we haven't been doing enough. One thing about this situation, I want him to be right because it's time to let the old guard know that these guys out here that are just putting out content and they have connections. They need to show these connections and put it out there so they can be like, hey, we're reputable as well. We don't have to work for these 4-letter networks. We don't have to be an insider at some newspaper. We don't have to be this and that. We can just be guys that's out here just talking and trying our best to give you the most accurate content and the best content and the best information. I think that's good enough to, if we do have sources, we should be respected. Now, I'm looking at the situation from afar back, and I feel like this whole team is about to be gutted. I think what Jake put out there, I think what other people that put out there early on in the day about Deshaun Watson is true. If I'm wrong, I have no problem with being wrong. I mean, that's just a part of the business. I think too many people are too worried about, hey, I made a mistake. But I don't think this is a mistake. My gut feeling telling me that this is correct. We're going to find out by sometime in the beginning of the week of next week. And I think that this is significant because just how cable TV has been going by the wayside because of the internet, because the internet, you can get more information faster. Like, not too many people's looking at ESPN or all these other shows now to get information. They're going to Twitter. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to YouTube. They're going to places where people can upload information fast. And it's like this. So who's to say these same people who are in the newspaper business or they're columnists or whatever the case may be, what does it say they can't be outshined by a person that's on Twitter who may know somebody that knows somebody, or somebody who just know the person straight up, can give them the information and, hey, look, I'm going to be your source. I'm going to tell you this, this, and this. Don't blow my cover. Let me know. Let people know what's going on without mentioning me. Who's to say that's not the case? You know what I'm saying? And you saw it today with certain people, and I shout out Can't Guard Jake because, I like what he do. It may be unorthodox. It may not be traditional, but there's not been a time that I know that he's been actually like wrong from my knowledge, But I've seen this happen over and over again where the old guard or these old people that are on radio and video and on TV will call out these people. One person on the radio, and I'm not going to call his name, but I find it very disrespectful to call a man a loser, but then to turn back around and say, oh, if he got it right, congratulations, you're going to get yourself a podcast. See, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. If you're a person in the media, you should applaud anybody who puts out information that's correct. And I know it's early and it's not moving as fast as we're normally used to, but if he's correct, you owe that man an apology. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's okay. I don't care how early you get the information. If the information is right, respect that. There's all this guessing that's going on. I get it. It's very exciting. You want to see Deshaun Watson as a Falcon. I understand it. I'm starting to get on board with the situation, even though I don't want to see Matt Ryan go, but I'm not attached to these people or attached to these team or these players like that. I just want to see my team win. And, I don't care if you put a bunch of, high schoolers out there, a bunch of no-namers out there. If they're capable of winning football games, sign me up. So you see all of this going on with the old guard and the name calling, and it was a whole back and forth on Twitter with people about this. People are torn about this, with Deshaun Watson and his allegations. Now, I'm not even getting into that. That's just a whole nother can of worms I'm not even going to go to right now. I'm going to say this one time. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there and say, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm avoiding it or whatever. I'm going to say this one time. I'm not, obviously what he was accused of is terrible. It's absolutely horrible. But I don't want to sound callous or whatever the case may be. But if the law don't come after him, I'm not going to worry about it. I want to see whoever's play football and win football games. If the law hasn't caught up to you, I have nothing to say about that. Yeah, I may have a public opinion about it. Like, yeah, okay, that's wrong. If he did wrong by these girls, something should happen. But if the law don't do anything, what am I to do? I'm not going to sit here and just continue to play crazy with the outrage or lack thereof outrage. The criminal justice system needs to work on it the way it does. That's what it should just work the way it's supposed to work. And if it worked the way it worked for Deshaun Watson, it is what it is. Because your personal life and your professional life is two different things. I can care less about your personal life. I don't think you should be beating up on people. I don't think you should be, assaulting anybody. I don't think you need to be doing any of that. But I'm here for sports. And I want to keep it that way because this show can go way off the rails. If anything is done wrong, he needs to be punished for it. Outside of that, I can't. I'm not no judge, jury, or executioner. I just leave it at that. If that rubs you the wrong way, I apologize, but I'm just not one of those people to sit here and just be like, "Oh man, this need to happen," and it didn't happen, so I'm gonna stand on a soapbox. No, I'm not gonna do that. So that's my only time that I want to be dealing with that. I talked about that before when people ask about Calvin Ridley's situation, why he got suspended for a year, and people who are accused of other things, why they only get 6 games or whatever the case may be. Like I said, that's their personal life. If whatever happens over there, I'm not really big on if the NFL gets into that. I'm not really big on it if the NFL gets into something that happens off the field or it doesn't mess with the game. I'm not a big fan of it, but I get it. But I don't expect them to be judge, jury, and executioner of something that happened personally in their life. That's just with any other job. But I feel like home and work are two separate things, and it should stay that way. But I'm not gonna go no further than that. I done said enough. But as far as this whole media thing, we need to be rooting for guys like Jake and these other forms of media that are out here doing what we do. We need to, because we have a voice as well. Just because that we don't have the biggest following, like some of them may be manufactured anyway, but that's another story. But just the fact that we don't have the following like somebody, or they don't have a 4-letter network behind them, or they're not on the radio, or they're not on TV, or whatever the case may be, that doesn't mean that they cannot be reputable. Information is fast, is flying fast nowadays, very fast. And Twitter, Instagram, and in some cases Facebook and these other social media platforms, information flies very fast, faster than what some of these journalists are doing, sometimes faster than what definitely faster than what TV can do and radio. So if something come across the wire that's probably reputable, that makes sense, you should follow it. Now, I'm not saying follow everything. Like I said, if it's reputable and makes sense, you should follow it. You should deal with people who have a track record of being right. No matter if they have 500,000 followers, if they have 5. If they have a track record of being right, it is what it is. We've seen people get excoriated for putting out news early because of their follower count. Why is that? Think about it. That makes no sense. Because you have a little bit of followers, your news is not viable. Is not real. It's fake news because you have 20 something. How do you think let's go to Georgia Southern. How do you think the whole Coach Clay Helton thing got leaked? See, a lot of people don't know that. The Coach Helton situation got leaked for Georgia Southern by somebody who had less than 20 followers. And nobody wanted to listen, even though I retweeted it and I was like, this can't be real, but if it's real, I'm on board. Because I give everybody a chance. And I'm nobody. I'm a small guy. But still, I give them a chance. Because if they got real information, which does seem like it's true, I'm going to run with it. That doesn't mean I'm going to run with everything. But there's some things, there's one thing about social media. There's some things that you get a good vibe with, just, with me in general. There's some things you get a good vibe with just by reading it and watching what you see on social media. You can see BS when you see it. You know BS when you read it. But there's some situations where there's some things that are actually, that could be actually reputable, that makes sense. And say, hey, I'm going to fall back and take a listen to this. Oh, they got 30 followers? Maybe. But nah, sometimes just because, some of these people are reputable, they're just using extra accounts because they don't want to put it on their regular account because they don't want to get in trouble. There's some things that people can't put on social media because they work for a certain company. They can't put it out too early. They're not the ones supposed to get the scoop. So in some cases, they make burner accounts and put the information out there. Or they just put it out there anyway because they just know. So all this guessing and not defending people. The thing is, I'm not saying chase everything that you read. I mean, that's ridiculous. But there's some things out there that's reputable, that make sense. And what Can't Guard Jake did definitely made sense, because what he did was he sat back, and when he got the information, he put it out there, and everything that he's saying is lining up. The Kyle Pitts tweet that was deleted, the Mike Davis situation that he put on Twitter, the whole agent situation. It makes sense, and it's okay to take it for what it is. But now we're looking at a situation where it's like it may be much more to that. And with that being said, kudos to anybody who got that, correct. And if it's not correct, I'll be highly surprised. I'll be completely surprised if this is not correct information. Not at this point. Honestly, it boils down to the Saints. And it boils down to the Falcons. Deshaun Watson is from the Atlanta area. He's been a ball boy with the team. The Falcons decide to push their date back for Matt Ryan's $7.5 million roster bonus till next week. I don't see it. I don't see it that it won't be another way. If he goes to the Saints after all of this, that will be incredible. And I'll be here to tell you, okay, it looked like a duck. It sounded like a duck. It walked like a duck. It was a goddamn walrus. I was wrong. It's okay. But I'm here to give you an opinion. I'm not here to be a fortune teller. And my opinion is it looks like what it is. And if it's not, it's not. I'm going to move on and talk about other stuff. I think that's what it is. I think so many people are so caught up in trying to be right to the point where they're not who they are. And at the end of the day, if you're behind this microphone, you're not who you are. If you're playing a role, to be quite honest, I don't even want to listen to anything you got to say at that point, because you got to play a role for information anyway. I'm going to stay who I am regardless. I'm not really looking to be something that I'm not, to get where I think I need to be. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to give you my thoughts, good, bad, or indifferent. If I'm right or wrong, it is fine. I'm not out here to be wrong. I'm not out here to put out crazy stuff and conspiracy theories about the NFL or whatever. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions. What do you think when I did the show on the Los Angeles Rams, what do you think that was about? That was pure opinion. That was straight opinion of how I felt about that. And people thought about it, and a lot of people was on board with it. They understood it. They're like, hey, that makes sense. And that's what I'm saying. If it makes sense, take it for what it is. It may be more to it. But if it sounds crazy, if it's too good to be true, if it just sounds wonky, all right, push it to the side. But, it's unfortunate that things are like this. And I think that there's a struggle that nobody really realized. There's a struggle between what the old people used to do as journalists and what these new guys that are on social media can do. Just like how it was with the internet and cable TV. People are going to the internet right now because cable TV is just not it. To the point where certain companies on cable TV are trying to stream their stuff on the internet because they know the writing's on the wall. It just hasn't touched, I don't think it touched radio as much as it touched, it hasn't touched radio as much yet, and it hasn't touched the journalists that are on YouTube as quick. Because radio used to be that alternative from cable TV, because you can get information out faster through radio. That's why a lot of great guys that are on radio were very successful. And I'm not saying that they're not now, but there's still a level of information that you can get quicker. TV, radio, internet. That's how it goes. TV, you're going to get it slow. The radio, you may get it a little bit faster. The internet, it's like that. You can get information out on social media super duper fast. In some cases, you can get stuff out on YouTube super duper fast. It depends on how fast you can upload stuff. So you got to be mindful of this type of stuff. This quarterback guessing is crazy. I'm here for it because I'm excited either way. If Matt Ryan don't end up if Matt Ryan end up going somewhere else, I salute him. I wish him the best. If Deshaun Watson don't make it to the Saints, I hate that. I won't hate him, but I hate the fact that it happened, and I hope we still beat him. But if he's a Falcon, that's cool. If we don't get any of them, it looks like we're going to be trying to go for a quarterback in the first round because there's no way that we're going to go forward without a quarterback. Malik Willis may be on deck. Ritter might be on deck. We just never know. But let me know what you guys think. I don't want to hold you guys up too long. I went a little longer than I normally do. Try to keep it around 20 minutes. If you like this content, hit the like button. Share this video. Share this podcast. Subscribe to this podcast. Share this podcast. Give me a 5-star rating on Apple if you're on Apple. Also, give me some feedback if there's there. I need to go look and see if there's some feedback. I know a few people have, or at least one person have gave me some feedback. I really appreciate it. I try my best to read them, but I've been very busy this week, so I will go back into trying to read them today. So you guys, if you guys are putting anything out there, I really would appreciate it. Also, if you want to donate, all the links down in the description. If you want to donate it to your heart's content, I really appreciate it either way. All love is love. All support is support. I really appreciate all of it. I can't say that enough because I say it too much. All right, y'all. You guys have a great weekend. If anything comes up early, I will be having any emergency upload for this type of information. If not, I'll be back on Monday morning with a recap on what happened this weekend, if anything. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Have a great weekend. Peace.